Okay, so in this part of the video, we are going to learn about JS operators. So what are JavaScript operators? So JavaScript operators are used to perform different types of mathematical and logical computations. So you can group the so many operators that we have in JavaScript into these four types. I just group them like this, but it is I think the first three is commonly known. So the first one is arithmetic operators. So these are the ones that you can use to do mathematical computation, plus, minus, and these are, as we'll soon see. The next one is the comparison operators. So these are the ones that you use to compare things, especially when you're using your if statement or your loops. Then the next one is the compound operators. So they are like a shorthand for writing an expression. So I will show you that soon. Then other operators in JavaScript. So let's dive into the code. But I want you to remember that JavaScript operators are used to perform different types of mathematical or logical computation. Now, another way you can think of operators, you can think of them as a keyword, but this time around it is not in word, is in form of a single letter or a symbol or a group of symbols. So when JavaScript sees them, it understands what they are, and it can help it to perform a mathematical or a logical computation. So with this in mind, let us dive into our VS Code. So I'm going to move to the code. So the first thing I want to learn, so I want to remove all this. So Control A. So I will start afresh. So if I save, notice that everything is blank. So I want to first learn about the first type of operator that I want to learn is the arithmetic operators. Then the next one I want to learn is the comparison operators. The next one I want to learn is the compound operators. The last one is other operators. So let's start with the arithmetic operators. So by the word sound, arithmetic in normal mathematics is something that can be resolved to a single value. So for example, if I say let a equal to 10 and b should be let b be equal to 5. So because I ended this statement with a semicolon, I can write both of them in one line. So let's write them inside a console.log, so we don't have to be saving inside a variable then to output. So if I put here a plus b, notice what it will show me. So it will add that and it will show me what? 15. So let me do the next thing. So 8 times b, so this is an operator that I can use to do times, and this is minus, and this is divide slash divided forward slash. So if I save, you notice I have this, so I can drag this upward. So we'll notice that a plus b, which is 10 plus 5 is 15. 5 times 10 is 50. Then 10 minus 5 is 10. Then 5 divided by 10 is 2. So we have another one, which is it's like an exponential. So 10 raised to power 5, that is a very big number. So if we save to give us 1, 2, 3, to give us 100,000, so that is very, very big. Then there's another one called modulus. So is the percentage. So if I save this, it will give me 0. Now what is happening here? Now you notice that in this a divided by b, which is 10 divided by 5, this is equal to 2 remainder 0. So if you're using the division, it is concerned with the result of the division, leaving out the remainder. But if you're using the modulus, it's the same thing. 10 modulus 2, it will still give you the same thing, 2 remainder 0. So why the division will give you the result of the division, the modulus will give you the remainder. So if there's no remainder, it will return what? 0. So just a quick fix. Now if I change this to 11 divided by 5, which will give me 2 remainder 1. So what do you think the output will be? It will be what? It will be 1. So if I change this to 12, so it will give me 2 remainder what? So I think let me bring it down again. So 12 remainder 12 divided by or modulus 5 will give me 2 remainder what? 2, and the output will be what? 2. So I hope you will not get a pattern. So why this division takes care of the result of the division, the modulus take care of the remainder. So using the modulus, we can use it to check if a number is even or odd. So remember, if a number is even, if you divide it by 2, it should not have any remainder, which is what? 0. But if it has a remainder of 1 or of 1, you know that is a prime number. So that is what we can use the modulus to do. So this is just an example of the operators that we can use to do arithmetic operations. So the next one is the comparison operators. So in JavaScript, if you want to compare if something is equal to, so equal to, so if you use the equal to sign twice, it means in JavaScript equal to. Then if you use equal to, this means strictly equal to. And let me demo this in a moment. So if I have a variable, let's say let C equal to 2 and let D equal to a string of 2. Now if we are using the equal to, if I say consider log is C equal to D, so what do you think will be the output? It will be true, as you can see at the bottom here, 2, because that is our last console. Now what is happening here? JavaScript, or there is what we call a type conversion, or if you look at it, if you're using this normal equal to, it is concerned about the value and not the data type. For example, this is a number data type but is 2. Now this is a string data type but is also what, 2. So when you're using this normal equal to, its concern is the value and not the data type. So whereas if we do the same thing here, as a consider log is C strictly equal to G, now it then means that for this to be true, they have to be of the same value and of the same data type. And for this one, you know that this is a number data type and this is a string data type, even though we have not learned string, but just know that this is a number data type and this is a string data type. So if I save this now, to be what? False. So the number equal to is like when our parents, or maybe our this brother also gives us our ATM and say, please go and withdraw for me 5,000 using the POS or using the ATM machine. Now for the ATM to pay you the cash, you just need to verify 2 things by default. Are you with the ATM card and do you know the password? So if you know the PIN and you're with the ATM card, the ATM will just what? Pay your money. But if the ATM is not your own, and maybe there's much queue and you sense that if you go inside you might receive the money, but you know that that card is not your own, you know that if you carry that card inside the bank and try to withdraw money, you know that they will seize the card and you might get arrested, because they will not only check if you have the card and you know the password, they also check if your face is the one that is showing on the system. So that is what is just happening here. So this is how you can understand this. This number equal to only verifies if the value is the same and it don't care about the data type, whereas this one takes care of if the value is the same and if they are of the same data type. So that's just the difference. Then we have the greater than, then we have the less than, then we have the greater than or equal to, then here we have the less than or equal to, then here we also have the not equal to. So this has changed to red because I have a beta comment installed, and not is one of the exclamation mark is just one of the way of changing the color. So if I put, I think, asterisk here, it will change to green, as you can see. So that is just the beta comment here. So this is not equal to, so this is not equal to, then whereas this is less than or equal to 2, then this one is greater than or equal to, then this is less than and this is greater than. So if we want to try this, so if I say a console.log is so let's use our A and B is A greater than B. So what will be the result? Yeah, if we save that, that will show you true. So after this false, yeah, it is what true, because that's our last console. Then if I shift what arrow down, move this down and change it to less than, is A less than B or is B greater than A? So depending on the angle I want to look at it. So of course A is 10 and B is 5, so the answer will be what? False. So then shift what arrow down, if you bring this down, is A greater than or equal to B. Now A is 10 and B is what? Is 6. So A is greater than 5, but that is 10 is greater than 5, but is it equal to 5? So let us see what it will show. To show true. So remember here it is greater than or equal to, and in logical or statements, if any of them is true, it will return what? True, unless both of them is false. So unless it is not greater than and is not equal to that, it will return false. So if we do the same thing, if I change this to less than, so is A less than or equal to B? Now of course you know this is false because B is 5 and A is 10. So is A is 10 less than 5, which is false? Is it equal to 5, which is false? So you expect it to return false. So let's try the not equal to. So the not equal to, so is A not equal to B? So now if you put normally is A equal to B, it will return what? False. But the not equal to now means that since originally it was false, the not, I think it will invert it to what? True. So you use this not. This not is a logical not. So if something is true, it will just change it to what? False. If it's false, it change it to what? True. So if you want your condition, so all this thing that we are putting here, like you know, is a comparison operator. So we use comparison when we are dealing with maybe like the if statement, the while statement, our loops. So if you want your condition to run when it is false, then you have to use this not, so that if it's false it will run, then if it is true it will not run. So you just negate it. So that is for the comparison operator. Then you can also have this, but I will not give the example, so you can try that. You can also have the not equal to. So this one is not strictly equal to, so it must be of the same value of the same data type before it will negate it or before it will become true. So that is just the comparison operator. So I think we have this. Then we also have another comparison operator. Have the AND, which is the logical and then we have using pipe symbols. So you have the logical OR. So for example, if I want to say, for example, if I want to say consider log A greater than B and A greater than 20. Now, if you notice now, if you're using this logical AND, then the two comparison or the two conditions must be true. So the left hand side must be true and the right hand side must be true before it will return true, or before, if you're using it in a condition, before it will run. So if this is true and this is true, it will run. And in this case, 10 is greater than what? 5, which is true. And okay, 10 is not greater than 20. So in order for it to be true, it has to be less than. So 10 is greater than 5, which is true, and 20 is greater than 10, or 10 is less than 20. So if I do this, it's going to be is going to return true. But you notice that for the AND, if I put this as greater than, it will return false. So only when this is true and this is true that it will return true. So if I use it as a logical OR, so if I put here the pipe symbol, so in this case, in order for it to return true, is either this is true or this is true. If any of them is true or they are both true, it will return true. But it only return false if they are both what? False. So in this case, this is true, but this part here is what? Is false. So it's going to return true because one of the side is true. So if I save, it's going to return true. So this is just some of the comparison operators that you see that you need to know, and you will see me using as you use this basic knowledge to build some applications. So let's now move to the compound operators. Now the compound operators, they are just joining two operators that can be expanded. So it's just like a shorthand for doing something. So for example, if I have plus, so if I have this plus and equal to, this is the same. So if I have plus and equal to, so let's assume that I have A plus equal to B, and you know that, and you recall that our A is equal to what? 10, and our B is equal to what? 5 from above. So this expression here can be expanded to mean A is equal to A plus B, which can also be expanded to what? A is equal to, now what is the value of A? Is 10 plus, what is the value of B? Is what? 5, so which is equal to what? 15. So I saying that this is a compound operator. So by using plus and equal to, you can expand it, you can use it in this scenario. So a plus equal to b, which can also expand to what? A is equal to a plus b. So if a and b has a value before, then you cannot expand it to this, which will work. So if I do the same thing here, if I put a constant log a plus equal to b, now notice that the result it will show me is 15. So let's save. I notice is 15, just as was expanded here. So using the same logic here, so if I have minus equal to, so it then means it will be what? So if I copy this here, so I want you to understand this concept because it's a very simple concept. So if I put here, so this will be a minus equal to b, and this will be a minus b, and this will be also minus. So the result will be what? The result will be 5. So if I do the same thing, so if I move this constant log and shift alt arrow down, and I change this to minus, so you notice that if I save, a will result to what? A will result to it's meant to be 5, but it's showing us 10, and that is because by doing this we have updated a. So a is no longer a. The last value for a was 15, so it will now be 15 minus 5, and that is why it's giving us 10. So in JavaScript, if you don't try to reason the way it is, then the way it is reasoning, then you have some errors. So using the same logic, so I will not expand the remaining one, so just use the same principles. So if I have times equal to, you know what it will expand to, and we will now know that the value of our a here now is what? Is 10. So that will expand to 10 times 5, which is what? 500. So I'll just do a constant log. So a times equal to b, so that will give me what? I think it's not 500, it's 50. Sorry for that mental marks error. So the next one is slash and equal to, which is a division. So remember that at this point our a is equal to what? 50. So if I do a constant log a slash equal to b, this will now mean 50 divided by 5, which will give me what? Back my 10. So if I save, this will be 10. Then last one, a, this is not the last one, rather, a modulus, okay, equal to, so if I do the same thing, so a modulus equal to b, so this is like saying 10 divided by what? 5. which will be equal to what? A remainder of 0, because 10 divided by 5 is 2 remainder 0. So if I save that, you see 0. Then another one is plus plus, which means increase by 1, just 1. And this one is minus minus, which means decrease by 1. Now this is where the advantage of a compound operator. Now if I come here and I say, now our a is 0, so if I consider log a plus plus, now it will increment to what? 1. It should have incremented. So why is it not doing that? A plus plus, let me try plus plus a. Okay, so this is it's kind of this thing, but if I select here, let me say f is equal to 0, I say f plus plus. So there's a slight difference between if you add the plus before and minus, and that is kind of technical, so I will not explain it here. That's why I want to use the example that I know will work. So if I say f is equal to 0 and f plus plus, so if I save, see that it should be giving me 0. So why is it not giving me 0? No, why is it not incrementing to 1? Okay, so we'll leave that for later. So just know that if you add plus plus a, for now it does the work we want it to do, which is 1. Then if I consider log minus minus a, which means it will decrement by 1, so it will return back to what? 0. Now if you're using this plus plus and this minus minus, you see that you can only decrement by 1, but that is where the compound operator now comes. So if I want to increment by 2, I'll just say a plus equal to what? 2. It then means increment a by what? 2. So if I save that, you see that a will become what? 2. Now if I want to decrement a by 5, so I'll just put minus here and put what? 5. So this will become 2 minus 5, which will return minus 3. So you know, so this is just the advantage of knowing how to do so many things in JavaScript. Now you see that if you're using this plus plus, it limits you to increment only by 1 per time. So if I want to increment by 5, I have to do it 5 times. But using this compound operator now, you see how it becomes easier for us. So now we have other operators. So only one equal to, as you already know, is the assignment operator. So this is not equal to. So we have seen equal to. So if I scroll up in the comparison operator, two equal to or 2 equal to is equal to in JavaScript. Only one is called assignment operator. Then the next one we have seen is called the logical not. So as you have seen in a variable here, let me check. We have I've cleaned it, so let me do a quick one. If I say let is married be equal to true, So using the logical not. So if I say consider log not is married, so instead of it to return true for me, it is going to return what? False, because this one means negate it. Just change it to the opposite. So this is all about operators, and I hope you play around with these operators to make sure you understand each of the types of operators that we have used here, and try to see how you can play around with it or see what you can do with it, because remembering how to use these operators will be of help to us when we enter our conditionals and loops. So in the next video, we are going to learn about how to declare variables of the following data type.